Hello, it's Yellow and welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing great because today I got a pretty funny and stupid story time for you guys, so let's just jump right into it. So this happened a few years ago when I was working this random summer job at a hotel, and to this day I still cannot believe I got high at work without even planning to. And the worst part is, I thought I was acting completely normal. I was not. So basically, I got this summer job at this pretty fancy hotel. Nothing crazy luxury, but definitely the kind of place where rich people walk around in robes at 2 p.m. acting like they own the building. I worked all kinds of random shifts there. Sometimes helping housekeeping, sometimes carrying luggage, sometimes just doing boring tasks no one else wanted to do, which fair. And the that's where I met, let's call him Mark. Mark was one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. This dude never looked stressed. Ever. Like, no matter what was happening, he'd just been standing there, smiling like he knew some secret nobody else knew. Guests yelling, he's calm. Manager angry, calm. Someone drops an entire tray of glasses, he's standing there like, damn, that's crazy. At first, I thought he was just naturally chill. Nah, that was a reason. Me and Mark became cool pretty quickly because we were around the same age. We'd always get stuck doing the annoying shifts together, so eventually we just started talking all the time. He was the type of coworker that made terrible shifts actually fun. Like one time we spent an entire hour ranking hotel guests based on how likely they were to secretly be spies. There was this old dude with sunglasses indoors, and Mark was convinced he worked for the CIA. But anyway, at the time, I had literally never smoked weed before. Not once. I knew people did it, obviously, but I was like never really around it like that. Meanwhile, Mark, apparently this man was basically powered by weed. I just didn't know it. So one evening we were doing housekeeping support, basically helping clean rooms, bringing sheets around, grabbing supplies, helping move stuff, super boring, but it was one of those shifts where the hotel was weirdly empty and everybody was relaxed. The manager working that day left a little early too, which made the whole atmosphere instantly more chill, and the hotel staff were all cool with each other. The reception desk and the hotel bar were right next to each other, so during slower evenings, everybody would like kind of hang around talking. Like the bartenders knew us, receptionists knew us, everyone was joking around. And because we worked housekeeping support at night, we had master keys. Meaning we could basically unlock every room in the hotel, which honestly should not have been trusted to two teenagers with zero maturity. So it's getting later into the evening, and technically our shift is already over. But me and Mark stayed longer just talking downstairs near the bar. One of the bartenders was cleaning glasses while talking to us. Reception was dead quiet. There was music playing softly in the background, and honestly, the vibe was elite. And then out of nowhere, Mark goes, "Yo, you wanna see the penthouse?" And I immediately went like, "Yo, we're probably not supposed to do that." And this man just smiles and goes, "Yeah, bro, exactly." And I say, "Fuck it." So we take the elevator all the way up to the penthouse floor. Now, this penthouse was usually locked unless rich people booked it, and nobody was staying there that night. So Mark uses the master key, opens the door dramatically like we're entering a movie scene, and bro, that room was insane. Huge windows overlooking the city, giant couches, expensive kitchen, huge TV, everything smelled rich somehow. Like I swear rich rooms smell different. Me and Mark, we were just chilling around, acting like we own the place. And this dude sits on the couch, puts his feet up, and goes, "Yeah, bro, I could get used to this." And then he reaches into his hoodie and pulls out a joint. And I just freeze. Because up until that exact moment, I genuinely had no idea Mark smoked. And he looks at me and goes, "You ever smoked before?" And my dumbass goes, yeah, once or twice." And this man knew instantly that I was lying. He starts laughing and goes, "Bro, if you don't want to smoke with me, you don't have to." And at this point, I should have said no. A smart person would have said no. But I was like 16 and wanted to seem cool, so I insisted and I said, I mean, fuck it. Was that the worst decision or the best decision? I still don't know. So Mark opens one of the penthouse windows slightly and lights the joint. I immediately smell that smell. it hits me. So Mark takes a hit, passes it to me, gives me the most dangerous sentence ever. Just don't overdo it. Bro, I overdid it. I coughed so hard I thought my soul was leaving my body. And I'm standing there wheezing while Mark is crying, laughing. This dude literally had tears in his eyes, and at first I didn't even feel anything. I remember thinking, damn, this is just too fucking strong. And then 5 minutes later, it hit me like a truck. Suddenly, everything became funny, like unbelievably funny. Mark said something simple like, bro, imagine if the manager walked in right now. And for some reason, I laughed so hard I had to sit on the floor. I could not control it. And Mark was completely normal somehow. That's when I realized this man had professional experience. And then the munchies kicked in. Now, if you've never had munchies before, it's not normal hunger, it's survival mode. Like your body suddenly believes you haven't eaten in 14 fucking years. Mark suddenly stands up and goes, yo, bro, I got an idea. And that sentence should have scared me because the next thing I know, we're sneaking downstairs into the hotel kitchen like we're in Mission Impossible. The kitchen was technically closed already, but some desserts and food prep stuff were still there. And because the night staff all liked us, nobody really questioned us walking around. But in my head, I thought everyone knew. I was convinced I looked suspicious. Meanwhile, Mark is casually walking around grabbing food like he's grocery shopping. Bro started making sandwiches at like midnight. I remember opening a fridge and just staring at the orange juice for an uncomfortable amount of time because it looked amazing. I grabbed Mark and started to share my philosophical view of that orange juice, and I swear that was the best orange juice I ever had in my life. And we started eating everything. Bread, fries, tiny desserts, fruit, cereal. At one point, Mark found whipped cream and sprayed it directly into his mouth for like 5 straight seconds. And somehow that became the funniest thing I had ever witnessed. I was laughing so hard I literally slid down one of the kitchen counters onto the floor. And then it got worse because one of the receptionists walked into the kitchen and immediately my brain went, oh, we're done, we're fired, it's over. But she just looked at us eating random food in silence and went, you two are still here? And before I could even respond, Mark goes, yeah, team bonding. And somehow she accepted an answer. She literally just shook her head, smiled, and left. I remember whispering like, bro, she knows. And Mark goes, yep, she definitely knows. Which made me laugh again for no reason. But the peak of the night happened like 20 minutes later. So we're sitting near the reception again, drinking sodas and trying to act normal. And this older guest walks in asking for directions to some late night restaurant. Now, normally this would have been easy. But Mark, he decided he should help him. Huge mistake. Because this man starts explaining directions with the confidence of a GPS that has never been updated. He goes, so yeah, you go left and then another left, and there's like a fountain or maybe a statue. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there trying not to explode laughing because the directions made absolutely no sense, and somehow the guest thanked him and walked away. That poor man probably ended up in another country. At this point, it's super late and the high slowly starts calming down. And honestly, the whole hotel just felt weirdly peaceful. The lights were dim, soft music playing near the bar, reception quiet, city lights outside the windows. It felt like one of those nights that accidentally becomes a core memory. Eventually, me and Mark cleaned ourselves up, threw away the evidence, and headed home acting like nothing happened. The next morning, though, bro, I woke up terrified. I was convinced I got caught somehow. I checked my phone expecting messages from the manager saying like never come back. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. So when I saw Mark at work again a few days later, this dude just looked at me smiling and goes, so, what's up, philosopher orange juice guy? And I almost died laughing. To this day, that was probably one of the funniest nights I've ever had at a job. And honestly, the craziest part is that if you met Mark, you'd never expect any of this. He just looked like the calmest dude alive, which now makes complete sense why. Guys, don't be like me. Respect the rules because I could have gotten in way more serious trouble and Mark and I could have ended up at the police station or something. So please don't be like us. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Go touch grass if you haven't. And as always, stay yellow.